It starts like any normal morning. Quiet, polite, almost boring. Breakfast is barely over when something shifts in the room. Nothing loud, nothing dramatic. Just a man who decides today cannot wait. He has a plan, a schedule, and absolutely no doubt in his own mind. He believes this moment has been decided long before anyone else even knew it was coming. Across the room, Elizabeth feels it before she understands it. That strange pressure, that awkward pause where time slows down just enough to warn you something uncomfortable is about to happen. Her mother, on the other hand, is thrilled. Too thrilled. So thrilled that she doesn't even wait for Elizabeth to speak. And just like that, the door is shut. The witnesses are gone, and Elizabeth is trapped in a conversation she never agreed to have. The man standing in front of her doesn't ask a question, he delivers a speech. Not about love, not about feelings, but about duty, about reputation, about what should happen next. He talks as if the answer is already decided, as if resistance is just part of the ritual, as if no is merely a delay, not a choice. Elizabeth listens, stunned, caught between wanting to laugh and wanting to escape. Because the more clearly she refuses, the more confident he becomes. And that's when she realizes something unsettling. This isn't a proposal, it's an assumption. And the real question now isn't whether she will say no, it's whether he will ever hear it. What follows is not romance, not misunderstanding, but a battle of words, where logic means nothing and persistence wears the mask of certainty. And once this conversation begins, there is no easy way out. The proposal that wouldn't take no. The next morning at Longbourn feels ordinary. Too ordinary. No one expects it to become uncomfortable. No one expects a moment that will refuse to end. But Mr. Collins wakes up with a decision already made. And once he decides something, nothing, not logic, not emotion, not rejection, can stop him. He doesn't wait. He doesn't hesitate. Time, in his mind, is a luxury he cannot waste. Soon after breakfast, he finds Elizabeth in the room with her mother and sister. And instead of speaking to Elizabeth, he speaks about her. He asks her mother for permission. Permission to speak. Permission to proceed. Permission as if the outcome is already settled. Elizabeth barely has time to react before her mother answers for her. Yes, of course, she says, as if happiness is guaranteed, as if refusal is impossible. Before Elizabeth can protest, the room begins to empty. Her mother leaves, the door closes, and suddenly Elizabeth is alone with a man who looks far too confident. Mr. Collins begins to speak. Not softly, not nervously. He speaks like someone reading from a script he has rehearsed many times. He compliments Elizabeth, but not in a way that feels personal. It feels calculated, organized, almost official. He explains that her hesitation only makes her more desirable, that her discomfort is charming, that her silence is expected. Elizabeth listens, stunned, because this doesn't feel like a conversation. It feels like a presentation. Then comes the revelation. Mr. Collins isn't here because he loves her. He's here because marriage is practical. A clergyman, he explains, should marry. Marriage sets a good example. Marriage improves happiness. Marriage is recommended strongly by a powerful woman whose approval he values above all else. This isn't romance. This is a checklist. Elizabeth almost laughs. Almost. But Mr. Collins isn't finished. Now he explains why he chose her. Not because she is special, not because she is unique, but because one day he will inherit her family's home. And marrying one of the daughters, he says, is simply considerate. He assures her that money doesn't matter to him, that he expects nothing from her father, that her future inheritance, small as it is, will be more than enough. He speaks of affection, of devotion, of how generous he is being. And that's when Elizabeth interrupts. She thanks him, politely, clearly, and she refuses. For a brief moment, it seems like the story should end here, but it doesn't. Mr. Collins smiles. He explains that young women often refuse at first, that modesty demands it, that persistence is expected. He is not discouraged. Elizabeth tries again. She is serious. She is honest. She is firm. She tells him plainly they would never make each other happy. But the more she refuses, the more certain he becomes. Now the tone changes. Mr. Collins explains why she should accept. His position, his connections, his future property. And then, quietly, cruelly, he reminds her that another offer may never come. Her fortune is small. Her chances are limited. Time is not on her side. This is not persuasion. This is pressure. Elizabeth sees it clearly now, and she refuses again. Not politely, not gently, but truthfully. She tells him to believe her words, to respect her choice, to understand that no means no. Still, he refuses to hear it. He convinces himself that she is teasing, that she is following tradition, that she is increasing his desire through suspense. Elizabeth finally understands something chilling. This man is not misunderstanding her. He's choosing not to understand. So she leaves, silently, decisively. And as she walks away, she knows one thing for certain. This wasn't a love story. It wasn't even a failed proposal. It was a warning about entitlement disguised as confidence, about persistence mistaken for virtue, and about how dangerous it can be when someone believes your answer doesn't matter.